Alrighty, so quick daily recap of what happened today. Daily was basically the whole daily range is bearish, internal is bullish. I was expecting price to potentially come to this demand area, and then we'll be looking for buys potentially if it get respected. Although I'm not sure because price just swept that daily supply, and we could see a momentum shift to the downside. Um, we had a choke, all right, and we left an unmitigated supply inside the bar area right there. So I expected price to just retest that supply and continue bearish. So that's exactly what happened. We had that boss right there. Internal was bearish. That was our internal high. That was our internal low. Price just pulled back. We got that choke, right? Once we got that choke, I looked for long opportunities until till that demand or till that supply. Sorry, I had that unmitigated supply right there that I was looking to take sells from. So my target was that one. The trade was phase B, so it was counter internal and counter swing, but it was very high probability because, well, we had that shock from a previous demand range, right? And we had an inside bar H4 level that we were expecting price to react or to go to. Um, so once we got that shock, we had the only unmitigated demand right there. Right, went to the 5 minute and we got an LC2, LC1 just there. That was LC1, that was the low, that broke the high. But when I came to the chart, of course, that was at 6:35. When I came to the chart, it was around this level right there, somewhere around there. And I took the trade around, yeah, around that with a 5 pip stop loss, which covered lows somewhere around that, right? And yeah, my TP was 122. Why? Well, because we had this range, and I didn't want price to give us any sort of pullback or reaction, strong reaction from here and get stopped out. So that was just my trade, and we hit it literally very easily. We consolidated a bit, and then we went straight to TP. Then after that, we swept these lows and we pushed higher, right? So that was my trade. Very beautiful trade. In any other scenario, I'll let it 1 2 3, but of course, I didn't get any momentum or I didn't have any clear path to the supply. Then what happened? Price basically just swept low, gave us a choke, and then a liquidation there. So an LC2A in 5 minute, but unfortunately, it didn't give us any confirmation from that level. No choke, no entry, no nothing. Price then went all the way to the extreme of the H4 level, right? The extreme of the H4 supply, and then reacted from this buy to sell wick. Um, that was the LC2A, that was the entry there, but of course we have no choke, so that was not valid for me. And then we just melted to the downside. Once we went to the downside, I was waiting for my choke. That was my choke line. So I just waited, right? Price just gave us that choke, but once he gave us that choke, didn't really pull back right away. We continued to downside, then pulled back a bit. That was in news with Trump tweet about opening the Strait of Hormuz. So that was the tweet. That was the tweet. I was waiting for price potentially to come back to this supply and then look for an LC1 or LC2A and then take it short, targeting that internal low or that M15 swing low at that moment because we had deep pullback, significant pullback to call that internal, swing low. But yeah, unfortunately, price didn't pull back, and then it was 4 p.m., so my session ended, and price just formed some internal structure, and it just broke that swing low. So now our swing structure is this one. That's our swing high. We don't have a swing low yet, right? The only unmitigated supplies that I can find are this one, that one too, right? And every other supply is mitigated. So if you go and follow everything, you'll find that everything is mitigated. That'll leave us with this wick, which has been mitigated. Not any candle close below, unless until that one. So So yeah, now M15 is bearish, all right, but our internal H4 is bullish, so we could still see a reaction to the upside from here, all right, but let's be careful from this supply. Price could react from this H4 supply and continue bearish. We could see also a break, so this is a very tricky area to look for buys or from sells from. So I think what I'm gonna do is just wait and see how price will react from this demand. All right. If we get an M15 boss, then that will mean that this level just held. That will be an M15 choke as well. So I'll look for longs then. But if it doesn't, then probably most likely um this demand will fail, right? So yeah, that's what I'm expecting in EU. In GU, sorry, just a game of waiting to be fair. I just need to wait, be patient. The market pays me to be patient, so I'm just gonna be patient and wait for more confirmation. Yeah, what we had here is just a truck. That's still at my internal high. I'm just gonna put it there. Or is it that one though? That one is the internal high. I'm not quite sure, you know. Um, Let me see. Uh, You know what? I'm not sure. I'll see how tomorrow develop, how price will develop overnight, and if it gave us any sort of pullback or anything, and then I'll decide if that would go as my internal high or that one, right? Um, so yeah, that's all for GU. Let's see EU. So what happened on EU is that after forming this big range, we came to sell to buy wick, right? And then we had that big push. Um, I wasn't expecting this push to hold, to be fair, right? Which it didn't. So what happened is we had the IBOS. M15 is bullish, but swing is bearish, right? We had the IBOS to downside. That was our internal high. Price just swept that internal high there and pushed to downside. For me, we didn't get a choke till that level there, so I couldn't find any opportunity, to be fair, or any entries, you know, as I waited for, I wanted to get a choke to confirm that this sweep was indeed a sweep and not just um, a break and then price will pull back a bit and then continue and break and give us the IBOS. So that's what I was basically waiting for, but we didn't get it, so that was no entry for me. Let me just draw my supply. So that's my 15-minute supply. I have that 15-minute supply as well. I will just take the whole range, to be fair, although it's not mitigated. That week is the only unmitigated one, so I'm just taking that one. And then we had an IBOS just recently there, so that was my IBOS. Okay, and now that's my internal high. M15 internal high. We don't have an internal low yet, but we could see it forming. And all of this is just inside, I mean, fractal structure, right? For this level here, we kind of have this inducement, although it's a bit far away, but it's still an inducement, right? We have this whole range, this whole flip range there. So yeah. So that's what happened today. I would say that price could potentially break that swing low and push lower. Looking at the daily, how did the daily close? Yeah, that daily closed very aggressive, so we could see just continuation to the downside from this level. But just let's keep in mind that, sorry about that. Let's keep in mind that today, I think is it CPI? Yeah. So that's the news. So we have CPI, all right. Uh, we have a Fed chairman testify, some people talking for GBP. We have EU French holidays, so um, yeah, I'm not expecting some crazy trade that I can do tomorrow unless I trade before CPI. And my target is or can be attained or can be hit. Sorry, can be hit before CPI. Then that'll be fine. If not, then I'll just, stay away and see what price will do during that day. And yeah. So yeah, that's everything for today. Beautiful win right there. All right. We couldn't unfortunately catch that whole move. We had the right idea, everything was right, but we couldn't. Um, Waited for chalk, plus created some supplies, but unfortunately it didn't give us enough confirmation to get into the trade, right? Um, so yeah, that's everything for the daily recap. We had a win, beautiful win, and yeah, let's see how tomorrow is gonna play.